Okay, let's go.
So we're back with episode 3 of Love is Blind. And they start that off with Johnny and Amy having their reveal, which they started at episode 2, but they left us on bated breath for episode 3. Like, they're not just going to drop these all at once. So I was kind of worried for him when she started talking about how she normally dates, like, ethnic guys, and he's definitely not ethnic guy to me. He gives me, like, Hey Arnold vibes a little bit.
He's very white.
Yes. They did have a cute reveal. He seemed pretty blown away by her. I thought it was cute when she said that her dad had a dream that her kids would have light blonde, almost brown hair.
I thought that was really cute too. He is very pleased with her. He
For
was
sure.
shocked when he saw her. And it made me kind of think when he got down on his knee and had the ring. I don't know why I'm just thinking of this in season 6, but it's probably such a bizarre experience, especially when you're very satisfied with how the person looks, to actually ask them to marry you and they feel like they're basically a stranger and they're excitedly happy to say yes. It probably feels so strange. And there's lots of kissing in this first meeting. All of them go differently when it comes to physical touching and things like that, but this was definitely a very physical relationship.
I can't tell whether or not she's putting on a front because he just sat there and like soaked in it, and then she just left. You know, she's like, okay.
He walked her all the way to her door and then backed up into his door.
He was soaking in everything. He was like, I don't want these doors to close. And it seems like she was just kind of like, all right, see you later.
I know. Is that where they're going this year? Probably that's where they usually go.
Like, isn't that where they always go?
I thought they went somewhere different in a couple of this, like 2 seasons, but I don't know. I don't pay that much attention. Yeah, let us know, Chick Chatters. We get our first meeting. That was cute. It wasn't too awkward, or at least it didn't play off too awkward, but
Zach and Irina awkward, but it was okay.
They were just not meant to be.
No.
So AD and Clay come in next. He apologizes to her again. It seems like all their dates start off with him apologizing to her. And he says this time that he was hurt and insecure about everything with Andrew, that he was sorry that he cussed at her. And she explains a little bit more about what went on with Andrew and how she kind of felt like she got played with the whole situation. And he says that he's never been to therapy, so this is a process for him of really learning how to be more sensitive and more emotional and deal with his emotions and things like that. So, of course, that makes AD very happy to hear. She starts getting right to gassing him up. She says, "You're so strong for crying, and it's such a dope male trait to be able to be vulnerable," and totally just builds him up and says that basically with her by his side, he's going to be the happiest, most confident, most wonderful, successful man in the world. And I don't doubt her, but just, I don't know. I feel like AD has a lot to offer, and she's always just trying to offer it up to anyone who will scoop it up. And she should know that it's more valuable than that.
I feel like she's just happy that it's positive after all the things she's just been through with Matthew, and she's just willing to accept whatever Clay has to offer at this point. It's what it's giving.
Which Clay doesn't have anything bad to offer, but he does kind of give Bartice vibes just slightly. He doesn't really seem fully matured yet.
Yeah, and I like AD. I think that she has it more together than she's given herself credit for. She's saying that she just kind of went with Matthew because she was weak and vulnerable, and I'm like, isn't that everybody supposed to be in this experiment doing? Being weak and vulnerable and trying to see what they can fit in a week?
Yeah, I think she was just being hard on herself because she felt like she fell for something, but I think she went in there thinking it was okay to believe what everybody was saying because she didn't think she's going to run across a complete psychopath. So, unforeseeable circumstances.
He does tell her about him crying in the guys' lounge, having an emotional moment. I mean,
it's always good to see.
We like to see the guys actually expressing their emotions instead of, I don't know what Matthew was doing, but I feel like he's going to be like Uche and he's going to appear later.
That's what I mean. He's going to come back. That was not the last of him.
I learned this with Uche. It's never the last of it. Never the last of it. Yeah, it seems like they're gonna be picking each other, AD and Clay, at the
Yeah,
end
I
of all.
think this was the moment they both kind of realized that AD's probably all in at this point, and I
Mhm.
think she got really comfortable. They both definitely left the dates feeling happy and I think comfortable with each other. So then we see Kenneth and Brittany, who we
Mhm.
never get to see. I don't know why, because it's looking like they're gonna get engaged, and I've never seen them follow a couple that gets engaged and them not follow them to the honeymoon. So I don't know why we're not getting a lot of them right now. Maybe we get a lot of them later, but
I have a theory. I think I know. What I do remember about the last season is that they only ended up with 3 engaged couples because they didn't follow enough people. So I think in case all these people drop out like flies or people like Matthew come in and start stealing them, that
gotcha.
maybe they're just trying to make up for if something were to happen here, they got this person to fall back on because at least they've been kind of following them.
Definitely, because Kenneth and Brittany, I think, are a solid couple, but they're boring. They just are, and I think that's why they're not getting a lot of airtime. And same kind of with Johnny and Amy, solid couple. They have a little more pizzazz, I guess, so a little more entertaining to watch. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't sense any drama really happening with them. Of course, who knows? I could be eating my words in a couple weeks, but that would be
No.
fun to watch too.
So she was really excited though that he made her a salad.
Yeah, she loved the salad, there were paints, there were lights, it was a really cute little setup that he had planned.
I was gonna say, I love how she asked about ethnicity and stuff because you can tell by his voice for sure.
His voice is so deep, oh my gosh, he sounds like a rapper, like,
He does. He totally does.
he does, like Gucci.
Yeah, you can tell. I know
Totally.
that AD said that she could sound like anything basically, and there are some people like that. Bliss was the same way to me. Bliss could really have gone
Mhm,
whatever way as well. So, but
mhm.
him, Kenneth cannot.
No, Kenneth is Kenneth, whether your eyes are closed or open or, you can pretty much see him from his voice. And
For sure.
Brittany too, honestly, except he does have it wrong, he thinks she has blonde hair, but I really just think that that's his nice way of saying that she's white.
Maybe. That might be a way of getting around having to say whatever, but it is what it
Mhm.
is. She is
Yeah, she's
weird.
white. That's gonna be their reality forever. So they connect even more on God and on family, and he asks about intimacy and
Mhm.
or marriage type of thing because they're both obviously very religious. And she says, especially in this process, she decided that she wanted to wait until after they get married. And he could not have been more excited about the thought of that. He is probably the best person to have received that news. He really loved it, he respected it, and they both agreed that they wanted God to bless them and bless their relationship, so that's what they're gonna do for God.
I would say amen.
Yep. I feel like every time we need Jesus, they give us Kenneth and Brittany.
Amen. Amen. I did enjoy that they were like painting and stuff. I just wish they would have showed me the end result because I'm watching Kenneth do this painting and
This
I'm like,
little, like, leaf.
I don't know. It's like, is this SpongeBob palm tree? What's
Yeah.
what's he painting? What is it? And then they just show her drawing and erasing every like. Is this an art salad date?
It was an art that's literally what I typed out. I said, "Paints and salad." Oh, and she also walks right in and says, "I love you." I don't know if they're at that point or if it was more of a sarcastic thing, but she definitely walked right in and was like, "I love you." I don't blame her. It was a cute little setup.
They definitely advanced more than their competitors in a shorter amount of time. So
Yeah,
that we've seen.
very true. Very, very true. We see Jeremy next with Laura. And this
Mhm.
is where he shares with her that he has sleep apnea and he sleeps with a CPAP machine, but it's not the big one, it's just the nose one. I don't know, maybe Chick Chatters can
Yeah.
let us know the difference.
Lord, this is when I noticed she did that little switch up of I need to ask him if he snores because it's obviously like a trigger or something for her. But then he says, actually, I have sleep apnea. And he kind
Which
of
is
makes
the
a
worst
joke.
type of snore.
Yes, it is. My brother has sleep apnea and it is loud. And if he doesn't,
Yeah.
nobody.
Brain being derailed.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. When this man said that he did not bring that machine, I was like, are you serious? Because she has the audacity to be like, what if he would have pulled that machine out on me? I'm like, girl, hopefully he does. And then he's like,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
gonna want
want it.
that.
I was like, "You're never gonna sleep. You're not gonna sleep if he doesn't
Well,
have
he
it."
makes the joke, "Oh, you think we're gonna be sleeping on our honeymoon?" And it's like, are you trying to snore manipulate this woman into having sex with you at all times of the night, just waking her up with your no,
Oh my
sir.
god, it's horrible. So,
It's
no.
awful.
And then she's gotta be worried if you're gonna stop breathing in the middle of the night. Please, sir, bring your machine.
Yeah, you don't wanna be trusting a whole stranger. I don't care if she's your fiancé. She is a stranger to your health right now.
Get it mailed to you. Something.
Yeah. I
Wow.
did think it was cute that they talked about the holidays a little bit. They both seem to kind of be down a little bit about the holidays. He said that it's usually a pretty lonely time for him, and he sometimes goes and visits his mom and his grandma, but for some reason, it doesn't seem like that's a regular thing he does on the holidays. And she says that the holidays are lonely for her as well, and that she kind of feels sad around the holidays. She doesn't really like Christmas, it makes her mad. So they both agreed on that, and then I thought that it was really cute that all of a sudden they both decided to get really excited about Christmas together in the future. They were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go all out the day before. We're gonna put presents under the tree and do the whole Santa snow tracks and all the things." So I think that that's cute because a lot of people don't have big families and holidays can be really hard, and to see that they both can come together and maybe get excited about that time of year. How cute.
I was pretty impressed that the whole conversation took place behind both couches too. I'm like, "This is the furthest I've seen people get away from each other to try to have a conversation."
He was literally in the corner by the door. My anxious ass, I would have been like, "Can you hear me over here?" You're right,
This is
it was so funny.
and then this is when
Yeah,
he has his pod date with Sarah and
yeah.
he calls her his wild card.
I know, which, I mean, she is, but she is. She comes in talking about her Botox.
Yeah,
I
right
didn't
at the gate.
understand this whole line of conversation for her. I think she just wanted to share with him that she has had Botox.
I mean, I'm hoping that it's like some weird Netflix editing, but she basically said she got this Botox because she takes pictures of herself. It's like, aren't
Yeah.
there like filters and everything now?
So true, so true. And also, I think he picked up on what I thought was a red flag very well and asked the correct next question, which is, "How many followers do you have on Instagram?" And it doesn't sound like she has a astronomical amount. I didn't write down whatever her answer was, but
4,000.
yeah, I mean, it's not nothing. And it could also be suspicious that maybe she's trying to get more, but I don't know. I'm not him. That's for him to decide. But I did think that it was smart that he asked that question because there are some people I think that are on this show, Andrew Matthew, Uche, Shake, who are not here for the right reason.
Yeah, and then he asked if she had an OnlyFans, which she says no. But I guess that's probably the next question it would be too. I don't know. It seems like she's trying to paint this image of it's not really the Botox. It's when you say, well, it's because I like to take a lot of photos of myself.
I know it's giving Instagram model.
And then that's when Elon decides to start asking about politics. And she says that she's more conservative. So then they bring up this abortion issue, which this didn't really go over well the first time they did it on Love is Blind with Nancy and then
No,
Barista. So I don't know why we're bringing up politics. I know it's got to happen in a conversation before people get married, but it might just not be the ones you got to air on TV. Just like leave it alone.
I honestly think that because politics are so sensitive for a lot of people, I think that they should just tell them, you guys need to talk about politics in these next 3 hours, or at least know what your values are enough to feel like you've gotten that out of each other, and we won't film it. We won't put it on TV. We're not even gonna film it. I
Yeah,
wish that they would just give them at least that. But I don't know. I guess that's what the nighttime is for on the honeymoon.
I guess. So that's when she gets into if his friends would agree with the process of all this, and he's like, nah. And then if his parents want to be his fiance, and then he tells her that his dad's passed away and that there's just this special spot he wants to bring her to. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
everybody's escalating so quickly. Like they're telling everybody everything they want to hear.
True. There's a lot of vulnerability, a lot of support going on here, a lot of I'm ready to join you into my life, which is definitely what they're all here for. But yeah, I wonder how genuine everyone's being or if they realize they've got to realize. I don't know. They're just you're right. People are being so agreeable.
Everything's okay. And I'm like, I've
Mhm.
never seen this before where
I
just
know.
everything's okay. Y'all don't even agree on if you like snoring or not. And then, oh, yeah, it's fine. And it's like, bro, you're just scared that he snores, and now he's got a whole snoring illness, and
Yeah.
you're just like, it's okay.
You're gonna sleep next to that for the rest of your life. Happily.
Maybe it's the editing, but who knows?
Jeremy ultimately says to Sarah that he thinks very highly of her and he just wants her to know that. And I think that should have been Sarah's first indicator that she's probably the wild card and not the number one draft pick. But we'll see how things go. And then we get back to Kenneth and Brittany, and we don't get any more of them. He proposes, she says yes. That's also a really pretty quick situation. So I'm excited to see them meet each other because I am excited to see their relationship play out more on the honeymoon, I guess. But yeah, they're definitely giving backup vibes.
They're focusing on the triangles, and the ones that actually are just kind of getting engaged, they're like, we'll throw them in there, but we're focused on these weird triangles right now.
Well, it does look like in the very beginning of the season they give teaser for everything, and it does look like there's going to be some dramas about did I make the right or wrong choice during the honeymoon mixers and stuff like that. So I think the love triangles and rhombuses and stars are going to really play out here pretty soon. I don't know if in episodes 3 through 6 it looks like they're still in the pods.
There's a lot going on in these pods. So yeah, they get
So
engaged. She's wearing a beautiful velvet dress, like the color. She's holding a rose like she's on The Bachelor, though.
she is. This is when I thought she looked like Sammy from Jersey Shore. Her hair in this scene is
Mhm.
exactly Sammy from Jersey Shore. Jimmy and Jessica come up
Yeah.
next, and they're having a pasta and wine date. I don't know why their pasta is separated from their sauce, and their sauce is on a plate, and their pasta's in a bowl. I really don't even know what they said on this date because I was trying to spend the whole time figuring that out on both watches.
Same. It was freaking me out.
You noticed it? I'm sure you did.
Of course I did.
Did you see too? The sauce was so
It was
lumpy.
it was aggressive, but what was crazy is that there was so much of it on the side of the bowl. There was as much sauce as pasta, which is fine. I mean, you want extra a little bit, but why was it separated like that?
And why you would think the noodles would be on the plate and the sauce would be in a bowl, so you could just like easily pour it over your plate and eat it.
Isn't it also just making the noodles cold, just sitting there with no warm
Yeah,
sauce on it?
yeah, yeah. I don't think
Man,
Jimmy ate his pasta sauce. I think one of
it's hard
them.
to tell. They don't show them eating. They just showed all their in a trash-like situation
I
ready to
was
go.
so
Everything
I
was
was so
stacked.
caught off guard by that pasta situation.
Yeah, 1 minute the pasta's there and separated, the next it was just everything was stacked up and like you didn't even know where it went.
I wonder what they were talking about. So they were talking about what her ideal day was or something. I think Jimmy asked her that. Because he's like, "What's your days typically like?" And her day is 100% and fully focused on her daughter, as any mom is. She gets her daughter up, she gets her off to school, she works while she's at school, she picks her up from school, she cooks for her, she gets her ready for bed, and that's when it starts, right around the time that a man gets bored of listening to your day that's revolved
Mhm.
around your daughter. Where do I belong in this? That's what he's trying to figure out. And at that moment, he gives no fucks. I think this is him not wanting to break Jessica's heart. So he is going to just start nonchalantly, passive aggressively acting like he doesn't care. And
Mhm.
cracking your knuckles is a great way to do that, especially for Jessica. She reveals that it's a pet peeve for her and she has no tolerance.
Oh, no, and she also has 0 tolerance if he is following other half-naked girls on social media,
Right.
and that's fine. I'd let that out. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. That's totally fine. But just
Yeah.
feel like you were already in a bad place.
Yeah, I think maybe her vibe was like, let's just get it all out there. If we're gonna start stepping on each other's nerves, let's do that conversation. But they definitely did that conversation. And I think she tried to rein it back in or bring it back to a positive space of calling him her number one draft pick. But he didn't really reciprocate much of that energy back to her.
Yeah, she talked about how her body gets, like, a physical response to him and, like, he's her person and all that, but she wants him to exhaust all of his options because she must have a feeling or know that somebody else is talking to him. I think she does know, right? She knows.
She learns actually here that somebody else is talking to him. I don't remember exactly how she learns, but I know when the next date that we see is Jimmy and Chelsea comes in, and I think it's the next day, and she says that the other person that you're talking to confronted me and asked if I was also having a relationship with you, and I said yes, and she was pissed.
Mhm.
Rewind a little bit because they showed the living quarters for a little bit, and that's when
Mhm.
things must have went down between Chelsea and Jessica, although we didn't see that. But what we did see was Trevor, Jimmy, who else is involved in these love triangles? Clay, I think. We saw 4 guys sitting together, guys that we're probably going to see sitting together for the remainder of the season because they're all heavily dating somebody or already engaged. But
Yeah.
Trevor, this is when he offers up or suggests that we all know that we're in this weird love star. That's why I keep calling it love star because that's what he called it. And if we just put our cards on the table, essentially, then all of us can leave happy. And I'm like, is he insinuating or suggesting that they just write out all their names and figure out where these stars lead and everybody just pick one so that they can all leave with somebody? The point isn't really to leave with somebody, it's to leave with the person that you want to marry. But good try, Trevor.
Was it that, or was it that he just wanted everybody to just be like, let's just shoot our shot and see who they end up with?
I don't know, maybe, but I got the vibe when he said we can all just decide and be happy. I'm like, are you guys trying to decide this for the women? And then y'all are just gonna go in there and be like, all right, I picked you.
What is going on?
I don't know. But Trevor does ultimately follow through with that. And his next date with Chelsea, he tells her that he's narrowed it down to just her. But before that date, we get a Jimmy and Chelsea date.
Mhm.
And that's when Chelsea tells Jimmy that Jessica knows that they're dating, and everyone's aware of the love square that's happening here. So they talk a
Mhm.
little bit about the love square going on, and they both wish that everyone could be more understanding about it because I guess Trevor has been nice to Jimmy in the process. So
I
Jimmy
guess.
was wishing Jessica could be more nice to Chelsea, but I don't think that that's how life works.
I think it's just a few days. What did you want everyone to be best friends through this? It is awkward.
It is,
So,
and Chelsea says as much, but she's like, "We're all adults here. We all need to just figure this out and let it play out. We can make a decision when we're ready." Jimmy doesn't sound like he's ready to make a decision, and he lets her know that he wants to keep learning about her. So I know time is ticking, but it sounds like they have at least a couple more days to figure this out.
yeah.
Um, they also revisit the divorce conversation again, and he apologizes again, and then they have, like, just kind of like a sweet conversation.
It seems like they're more on the way of leaving together more so than with Jessica. It just seems like he's more comfortable with Chelsea, and I think he feels like maybe Jessica's just too much of a commitment for him too soon.
Yeah.
Because it's really not just involving you and her and whatever happens with the show. There is a kid that's gonna live through this show, and that's kind of
Yeah.
wild to me that they even I don't know, this has just never happened before, so it's just really weird to see Netflix bring a whole child into this.
I know. I know. And I do think that Jimmy was feeling Jessica a little bit more until he learned that she had a kid. And then I think he's still just trying to dive headfirst into Chelsea.
To be real, there was some lawsuits allegedly last season, and
Right.
that's pretty scary to put a kid through in case those lawsuits are for real. It
Right.
seemed
Well, it
like it's
makes me
like
wonder about Drew Matthew. He's definitely just as psychotic as that other guy. I'm sure of it. And Uche and Shake and geez, they let all these crazies through. Our final conversation is with Chelsea and Trevor, and Trevor lets Chelsea know that he has narrowed it down to one, and that one is her, and he's not willing to do this with anyone else. Then he tells her he loves her. Yeah,
this was wild. This woman was seeming so taken aback by it. I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna this. I'm gonna that. But not once does she ever reciprocate it.
no, she's shocked, honestly. And I don't really get why she's so shocked. They've definitely been building a relationship and I mean they're talking about possibly getting engaged. So I get that the emotions can feel heavy, but that's kind of the direction that they're heading in. She
I
takes
think
it all in and she says that she's happy to hear it all, but she does not say she loves him too.
she's like crying as she's packing up to leave that date. She's crying. She's packing all her stuff up to leave. More like she already made her choice with Jimmy, so I don't think that she was really hoping for an "I love you." I think it hit her different, and that's why she didn't say that. And then she
Right.
goes to the girls' lounge, and all hell
Balls
kind of
her
breaks
eyes
loose
out.
there. Yep. And that's when I think Jessica figures out that it's her because she just immediately walks away, but then listens to everything.
Yeah. She
She's the
walks away
only
so
one.
fast, but she's still within ear's reach, just listening.
She's like, with whatever drink.
Girl, what are you doing? Like, either stand there and listen or go away.
She's the only one in the kitchen with her drink, like,
I know.
upset.
I know. I know. I don't know why Chelsea's taking this so hard. I'm guessing it's probably because she's leaning more towards Jimmy and she doesn't want to break Trevor's heart. She goes into the dorms talking about not wanting to make the wrong decision. So it sounds like she is leaning towards somebody. I would guess Jimmy. Do you think that?
I kind of think they're both leaning towards each other right now. But I do think that shit could possibly hit the fan when those reveal doors open and she ain't Megan Fox. I'll feel so bad for her. But it's not that she couldn't be Megan Fox. It's just that that's a very hard obtainable
Specific
standard.
high standard.
It's a high
And
specific.
not saying that Megan Fox is the most beautiful woman in the world. She's just people have an idea about what that looks like. And it's
And
just not Chelsea. And again, Chelsea is beautiful, but she looks like a different actress.
yeah, I can't think of her name, but one day I'll figure it
I
out.
agree. She does. She gives
But
me somebody.
I can't figure out who. I just hope that that Megan Fox thing don't bite her in the ass, especially after what we've seen in the last season with Captain America being upset about somebody who's pretty.
I know. And the thing, like, I feel like if Jimmy does pick Chelsea, he's definitely gonna see Jessica in one of these mixers or whatever. The producers are gonna be sure to make sure that that happens. And I'm not making comparisons, but if we're talking about Megan Fox, I feel like Jessica looks more like Megan Fox than Chelsea does. Not the light eyes situation, but everything else.
Definitely. I don't know. This could get messy. Could get messy. It could get messy soon.
I'm here for it.
It was like honestly doing math watching these episodes and trying to figure out who's with who and what's with what. And
It was challenging.
yeah. So I'm ready for a complicated season, chick chatters, but we'll catch you next time.
All right. Bye bye.